Hi guys, a very good morning to all of you, and I'm here to teach you lecture number 2, part 2 of chapter 4, standard 4. So in last videos I taught you about the rivers. So just go through the rivers and take a short look at what we have learned in lecture number 2. And whatever the homework I am giving till chapter 3, it's there, and the objective types, new words, please complete it in your fair copy. It should be in good handwriting. And once the school will open, I just want all the homework in your copy. So let's start the chapter, and after finishing the online class, please you go through the chapter and read the book, because it's a very important chapter and for the general knowledge also. So the river water, it comes from where? It comes from the flood water during or after the rainy season. Most of the rivers like Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna and Kaveri, these all river, it rises from the west and flows into the Bay of Bengal in the east. Which river? The Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna and Kaveri. These four river, it rises in the west side. It rises in the west side and flows into the Bay of Bengal in the east side. This is because the Deccan Plateau, these slopes is from the west to east, not east to west. So that's why what it flows, it rises in the west side and flows into the east side. The two rivers, Narmada and Tapi, these are the only two rivers which flow from the east to west. Because the Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, it flows from the west to east. But Narmada and Tapi, these are the two rivers which flows from the east to west into the Arabian Sea. Dams have been built on the rivers to store water. Now why the dams are there? Dams are there to store the water, to store the river water. And what the help of that dam water? They help in irrigation and also provide electricity. Dam water is what? It helps in irrigation, means like to farmers to grow any crops, and it also provide electricity. The Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, for instance, is one of such dam which is situated on the Krishna river. You can underline from here that the which dam it is situated on the river Krishna, then the Nagarjuna. You can underline from the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, for instance, is one such dam which is situated on the river Krishna. Again I am repeating, you have to underline from the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, for instance, the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, for instance, is one such dam which is situated on the river Krishna, There are a number of waterfalls, means many more waterfalls are there in these regions. Underline from here again from the second line. One of the highest waterfalls in India, Jog Falls, is located on the river Sharavati in Karnataka. You can see the picture, Jog Falls on the river Saravati. So it is the highest water rainfall in India. So again I am repeating, from here you have to underline from one of the highest waterfalls in India, Jog Falls. It is located on the river Saravati. It is in Karnataka. Next, The importance of the plateau region. Why the plateau region is important? The climate in the plateau region varies from place to another. Means the climate of the plateau region, it is very different from the other place. The soil here is mostly black and red in color. So in plateau region, the soil is what? The soil mostly it is in black color or red color. Black soil is what? It is good for the cultivation of cotton and oil seeds. You can underline from the soil, from first line, the soil here is mostly black and red in color. Again I am repeating, the soil here is mostly black and red in color. Black soil, this also you have to underline. Black soil is good for cultivation of cotton and oil seeds. Again I am repeating, from here you have to underline from the soil here is mostly black and red in color. Black soil is what? It is good for the cultivation of cotton and oil seeds. Groundnuts, this also underline. Groundnuts, rice, sugarcane, wheat and millets are the some crops that are grown in the central region. So why this is important? You can see that these crops is what easily here we can grow in the plateau region. Which crops? In black soil, like we can grow crops like cotton and oil seeds. In fact, the groundnuts, rice, sugarcane, wheat and millet, these also grown in the central region. Most of the people in the plateau region are farmers. So in the plateau region, the most people are what? Farmers, because their soil is very fertile, and that's why the people are there to cultivate their seeds and to cultivate the different types of foods like the groundnuts, rice, sugar cane, wheat and millets. The Western Ghats and the northeastern part, the Western Ghat and the northeastern parts of the plateau have very thick forest. They provide valuable forest products such as kind of wood, fruits and medicines. So in the Western Ghats, and in the north part of the plateau, their forest is very thick forest, and they provide us what? They provide us different kinds of wood, fruits and medicines. So that's why this plateau region is very important. There are large coffee, and we can grow what? We can grow the coffee, tea, pepper and rubber plantation in the Nilgiri hills. So in these hills we can grow plantations like coffee, tea, pepper and rubber plantation in the Nilgiri hills. You can see the picture, the tea estate in the Nilgiri hills. So that's why the plateau region is very important. You can see that we can see the different kinds of woods here, fruits and medicine also there. In fact, we can grow in a large amount of coffee, tea, pepper and rubber plantations in which hills? In the Nilgiri hills. Now the next topic and the Great Indian Desert that we will see in the next class. So please guys, be continue on the online class, and whatever the homework I am just giving, you can go through the website and you can just check your homework and please copy it in your SST fair copy. Till that, bye bye, thank you and have a nice day.